were found it necessary to apprise the nation on these criminal operations and outline the response of law enforcement to the isolated and cowardice acts. Whether it is economic sabotage, labor or service delivery related disputes, police are closing in on those who choose to use violence and intimidation for whatever motive. Intelligence suggests that attacks on trucks may be business related, and we know that these are not just random acts of criminality, but organized. Evidence before us points to organized, coordinated, and sophisticated operations that seek to undermine and sabotage the state and the business. We are encouraged that 12 persons of interest have been identified through investigations and intelligence collection. Now let me take this media briefing through all cases that have been reported and are being investigated by the police. For Zulu Natal, a total of 9 trucks were taxed since Saturday 9th July to date. In the first incident, 6 trucks along with Van Williams passing was Zulu Natal were banned on Sunday night. One truck driver refused to stop when accosted by the group of armed men who shot at the truck. The driver managed to drive away unharmed until he reached any place called Ingogo. 1 truck was banned. 2 more trucks were set alight on the N2 in Mbangeni, where armed men attacked and robbed the 2 truck drivers on Monday the 10th. KZN police are investigating a case of armed robbery, malicious damage to property, and attempted murder. Detectives assigned to the cases are closely following up on the leads and continue to gather and study all evidence at their disposal. Mpumalanga, 9 trucks have been torched in the Mpumalanga province, with the latest incidents taking place in the early hours of this morning between Emelo and Shipmore, where 4 trucks were attacked and set alight. 5 trucks were set alight and attacked on Sunday evening on the N4 near Waterfront. Police in that province are following up on the strong leads. In Limpopo, in the early hours of Monday morning, 3 trucks heading to the local chrome mine along Arrow 577 between Lorenberg and Sekukune in Limpopo were attacked and burned by 6 armed men. Police investigations are so far pointing towards an ongoing labor dispute and service delivery issues in the Lorenberg mining belt. Police in that province are investigating 3 cases of malicious damage to property and robbery and are expecting to make arrests soon. We want to make it very clear that to date, there have been no targets on trucks in the Free State and Gauteng provinces. In Free State, on Monday, a truck experienced mechanical failure and caught fire. The driver escaped unharmed. A second incident, a truck capsized, burst into flames. That happened in Gauteng. We have noted incorrect media again reporting in Gauteng that the truck there was attacked. There is no truck that has been torched in both Gauteng and Free State. Provincial Commissioner of the province, that is Gauteng, who is here, has confirmed that 2 trucks were involved in 2 separate accidents. The trucks, that one capsized in Gauteng, one caught fire through mechanical faults. Both truck drivers escaped unharmed, that is Gauteng. We remain adamant that both these incidents are not related to the coordinated and planned attack on trucks and should be reported as such.
What have we planned? The plan of action from the police is already underway. No matter the motive, the country's law enforcement remain on high alert and is hard at work at preventing more attacks, but also finding these individuals or gangs of thugs hell-bent in causing havoc on our roads. It is on this score that the SAPS has heightened police visibility and leaving nothing to chance in all provinces. We might as well add that we are very thankful to Defense that already in KZN they are working with us, especially on those strategic areas like Moy River Plaza. It is on that score that SAPS, yes, all major routes have been secured and regular patrols are being conducted along identified high-risk routes, as I have just made the point about Moy River and other high-risk areas. Ladies and gentlemen, while this week marks 2 years since we saw mass looting, acts of arson and wanton destruction in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng provinces, where 354 people lost their lives as a result of this mayhem. As things stand, there is no evidence before us to suggest that the recent target on trucks are in any way related to link to the July insurrection. I wish to take this opportunity to allay any fears that what transpired in July 2021 will repeat itself. To date, 67 people have been arrested on 11 cases related to the July mayhem. These cases are before the courts while investigations continue. Police are investigating 107 cases in KZN related to the torching of trucks since 2018. So that also gives you the idea to say the trucks issue that is happening now has been a continuing thing rather than the so-called remembrance of 2021 started 2018. Those cases, 107, are investigated in KZN. I might as well say 26 dockets have been opened and 24 people have been arrested, and 8 out of those people have been sentenced by the court of law, and the 2 of those people have been found guilty. They're in custody waiting to be sentenced. So there've been progress in this is truck industry per se. The 67 you spoke about is overall a problem that took place in KZN. We have a capable state that has learned from the past. The security apparatus are working in unison, and the security cluster is in better state to respond to any eventuality. Police are working with agility and are working closely together to bring a stop to these organized crimes and make arrests. We appeal to the road users and motorists and truck drivers to report suspicious people and activities to the police. I might as well go a little back to 67. 67, originally 83 people were arrested for that. And some cases have been withdrawn. But on the 67, all those people, they are caught going. 67 of those people are caught going. And indeed, the DPCI Hawks, together with the prosecution, are looking at the additional cases that brings some extra charges of terrorism and sabotage if it needs be. So they are looking at that in some of those cases. There are some of them that the investigation are going on. I think specific file there are 4, but all others are caught already and they are caught going. So that's what we'd say as we speak. The response of the police, unfortunately, exactly details where we are and what we do cannot be shared at this point in time, with the exception that 12 people have been identified, and those people are organized in one center in one portion of KZN northern part, and they are dispersed in different groups to do these things. So that information can be only shared up to that level. So thank you very much.
Did you forget my name?
No, I'm not forgetting your name. How can I do that, Miss Temba?
I cannot believe it.
Not at all. Thank you very much.
I apologize, Lieutenant General Manamela, the Provincial Commissioner of the Rising Sun, Malanga, of course. That's what I said. It looks like I didn't eat my carrots this week, Minister, because I also omitted to acknowledge the presence of Lieutenant General Nkosi, who is representing the DCI. He is the Deputy National Head of the force. So with that, let us open up the floor to some questions. Even the job, please identify yourself as well as the media house that you represent, and of course who you would like your question to be answered by. And I also know, Minister, that we do have questions that were sent online, so Brigadier Mateo is going to help us in that regard. But let's start with Pretoria and see what's going on. I'll take the first round of 4 questions. I saw the NCA, Newton Call, IFM, one more. Okay. There you go, Newton. Okay, go ahead, Heidi.
It's Heidi Jobbers from the NCA.
Hi, Haji. Hi, Haji.
Hello, Minister. Maybe this question can be for you. I just want clarity around the 12 people that have been identified. When you say have been identified, what do you mean? Have they been arrested? Are they going to be arrested? And I know you've indicated that there's no possibility of a July unrest again that we saw in 2020.
I can't see you, so I can't hear very well. Somebody is in between you and me, and I want to see. Okay.
Okay. Must I start again?
No, proceed.
Okay. So I know you said that there's no possibility of July unrest again, but there's a lot of panic because this is how it started in 2021. Are you 100%?
Before you finish that question, can I repeat what I said? We have no evidence. I didn't say there is no possibility.
Okay.
And I said we have no evidence, but we have said we have learned our lessons and is not going to any repeat of what happened on that particular time.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can answer the 12 people that have been identified. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. News 24.
Salis Okoro from Eyewitness News. Minister, I just want to know, yesterday the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, told Sowetan newspaper that they know exactly, they are hot on the heels of these people who are torching these trucks. And then we wake up this morning and we find out that there are trucks that are torched. So I just want to know, in terms of intelligence, is there a sharing of intelligence in terms of the entire structure? Because is the Deputy President, is he aware of what's happening in terms of what he said yesterday? I think that's my question.
All right. Alex?
This is, sorry, good afternoon, it's Alex from News 24. I suppose one for General Masamola, or perhaps the Minister would like to answer, I suppose. Did we have any intelligence that these attacks would be imminent? Was there any intelligence at all? I know there are some trucking groups that suggested that they warned police that these attacks were going to happen. Can you confirm that?
Okay, I believe this is the last one. Okay, Father.
Thank you, Minister Pizzo, IFM. Minister, I heard you saying that police have been deployed at most of the highways For how long, Minister? Don't these highways need police visibility throughout? Thank you.
Please allow me to take you on the second round, please, if you may. Minister, National Commissioner, there are some questions.
Heidi, I answered your question. Is one outstanding?
Yes, the 12 people.
How are they identified? How many?
No, you said 12 people have been identified, so I just want to know if you said identify what you mean.
Yes, maybe that also goes to the question of the DP and the self. Yes, there are 12 people that have been identified, people of interest, by names, some of them by address, some of them by the cars they drive. Exactly where I'll end there because the police will have to take it from there. Maybe going too much of that information, we would be saying to them, we are very close to you. But I would then jump to the question to say, the deputy president would have had the same questions. It could be these 12 people or less than those 12 people by the time, because this number has been updated. All the time, the people that have been identified there, they've been around 5 in KZN and 3 in Limpopo. So there's been the addition now on those. So he wasn't wrong. Yes, you do ask what happened then in Mpumalanga. That's a part that, as the police, will have to find out what happened, and then we have to respond to. But that leads me to the other question of the deployment. Yes, we have increased our highway patrols as the police, especially on those suspected routes. But if you care to see or you care to pay your focus, this attack is on the eastern part of the country. Eastern part of the country, that would be KZN, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo. But it is also as some form of some specific industry that this tracks. Yes, your Van Renen, that would have been your miscellaneous kind of goods, but the rest of them is some kind of an industry, which makes us have the interest if that kind of economic wars is not part of that industry, that part of tenders, that part of the so-called the mafia, the business mafias and all that. We are looking at that. But I would love to repeat that those people are known specifically. There might be more, but 12 of them, including the main convener and coordinator of those people is known. The other question will be answered by the National Commissioner on the intelligence issues. Commissioner?
Thanks. On the question of any intel, yes, intelligence was available, but not specific as to where and what. Hence, we had deployments already on our highways. We have beefed them up now, and we think we'll keep on beefing them up. How long are we going to be on the highways? While we still have the problem, we'll maintain the deployment on the highway. Of course, yes, we do have limited resources, but we'll keep our deployments and number of roadblocks on the highways with a view to cap further this problem until, of course, we arrest those that are responsible, which we are currently on their heels. We will make sure that we arrest them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. Thank you very much, Minister. Let's open up for the second round, please. I'm going to take SABC and Newsroom. And then let me just see any other hands. Okay, let's start there. Go ahead, Zima. You need to speak to the mic, please.
Sorry. Hi, it's Hannah from Newsroom Africa. Minister, you mentioned that in KZN, the Defence Force has joined part of your plans in fighting this. Are you calling, or would you want for the Defence Force to join in the other provinces that are affected? And then on the 12 people, what is their profile? How exactly were they identified? Who are they? And then last one is
SABC?
Good afternoon.
Microphone, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Crisalda Lewis from SABC Television News. This could either be to the police commissioner or the police minister. Minister, the police commissioner did say there was ongoing intelligence but he just didn't know where and when these attacks were going to take place. Would you classify your intelligence as poor? Because the minister has just said in his address that this seems to be an ongoing labor dispute. So this is not something that just fell in your lap yesterday. It's been an ongoing labor dispute. And now, you say there's intelligence on the ground, but you seem to be very reactive in dealing with what is currently happening. Also on the aspect of, Minister, you said that there's been no incidents in Gauteng as well as in the Free State as well. Part of your deployment, are you deploying in those areas, despite the fact that nothing has happened as yet, so that we're not there reactive again? Because Gauteng, of course, being one of the economic hub, could possibly be seen as an area where instability could be targeted towards. And just a very last one, Lorenzo. There's a criticism, Minister. You say that there is no evidence at this particular point that suggests that this may be somehow linked to what we saw take place in the July unrest. Others argue that police have still failed to bring to book the main instigators of the July unrest. You say now that there are 12 persons of interest relating to this. How sure are you that these are indeed the correct people if currently there is still that assertion that you failed to get the main people who were involved in the July unrest? Those who were arrested were just on the sidelines of what took place. Thank you.
All right, let me just take it to over here.
It's Shamisani Shikarange from Times Live. Minister, I just want clarification on the top of interest. Is it 12 people in one province or 12 people in covering the different provinces where there has been attacks? And also, can you kindly confirm if in those 12 people that you've identified, does it include a man who has been circulating on the video? There's a clear video of one of the alleged suspect torching one of the trucks. Does it include that one person?
Yeah, so this is going to be the last question for this round, please. Switch up your mic, my sister. Go ahead, Alex. No, not you, brother. Alex. Okay, go ahead.
Patrick O'Leary, Fleetwatch Truck Magazine. Mr. Minister, this being going on from 2018, you were at a press conference after that with the Minister of Labour, the Minister of Home Affairs, everybody, saying so much is going to be done. The perception from the truck industry, the truckers, is that everybody gets together when more trucks get burnt. But there's no ongoing investigation that's leading to any solid outcomes where these culprits are caught. The trucking industry, in many instances, feels like SAPS is failing them because it just goes on and on and on. November the 20th, 2021, 20 trucks burnt on 4 highways in Gauteng with the same modus operandi as we've seen now. No one was identified, no outcomes. We're never getting any outcome. We're never getting any people standing up in court. You say there are people in court. How many of those arrested were looters? Are these the leaders of these instigators? What are the motives? Who are these people? Is it ATDF? Foreign driver is always the issue. Is it the foreign driver on this issue? Or is it political? Is it underlying terrorism? Is it criminality? Is it economic sabotage? And these are kind of answers. And the trucking industry feels that whenever the trucks get burnt, that's when we hear from the police, the ministers, and then you all forget about it until the next time. Sorry to be harsh, but that's the perception, and pretty much, in some people's eyes, the reality. Any answers?
Thank you, Patrick. Remind me again, what is your publication?
Fleetwatch Truck Magazine.
Thank you so much. All right, those are the questions for the second round, Minister and Generals.
Well, Zikona, the question you asked SNDF, yes, we'll be working accordingly. Especially, we know that the soft area for criminality when it comes to these things, Moy River Plaza has been major of those places. That's why we start there. But we do have other soft places like, as you go to Mpangeni, there is that terrible long queue of trucks, very long, that is parked there, that is supposed to go to Bay. There is one area that we are looking with the hawk eye. And those trucks, by the way, are parked in the bush. All along that road, they are parked N2 before they turn off to Richards Bay, that main road there. They are parked in the bush, so it's one area that even now we have put extra resources as the police. Yes, indeed. And other provinces, we are working quite closely with the SNDF. They take quite some time to get their people out of their bases. We are very thankful that at least in these N3 soft areas, they have really assisted to go there quick. The second question, you ask it very well that he's not going to get answer. I even saw it your face yourself that you are aware that you're not going to get answer of that question as a caller. This question of SABC, 67 people are in court. 67 people are in court. To arrest people, you investigate, and your evidence leads you to arrest them. Is not what the community is suspecting. Otherwise, all of us who are suspects will be arrested every day. We'll allow those people who have their own suspicions to keep their suspicions on. And if they do anything beyond suspicion, they must approach the police and give the evidence, the information. But to say that nothing has happened when 67 people are arrested.
Sikubingelele sikwamukele indabeni zehora lokuqala emini sibingelele nakuwe osibuka uhlelweni letholusha lezokusakaza iDTT lezi ndaba nizethulelwa usakhiwo ngokwasokhela nazi ezinohlonze emini nje.
This is news to me. I am shocked that Coke was in fact registered as a company by Mr. Lukota and some other people.
Iqembu lezombusazwe Congress of the People selesuliwe ohlwini lweinkampani ezisemthethweni ekhomishana egunyaza ukuba semthethweni kwenkampani kuleli CIPC lokhu kudalulwe encwadini yabameli yomunye wabaholi baleli qembu osanda kuxoshwa uWillie Madisha yize kunjalo leli qembu lisabhalisiwe ohlwini lamaqembu ezombusazwe e-IEC.
26 dockets have been opened and 24 people have been arrested, and 8 out of those people have been sentenced by the court of law.
Abalele 20 amaloli angqongqiswe ngomlilo ezifundazweni ezihlukene kanti sekuboshwa abantu abangama-24 kulezi gameko lokhu kudalulwe ungqongqoshe amaphoyisa ubheka icele nobelandisa ngenyathelo esezithathwa amaphoyisa ukunqanda ukubhebhetheka kwalezi gameko.
The team is gelling well. Number one, we are acclimatizing. The girls seem to be getting along with even the people here in New Zealand. Even on the field, we're starting to connect more.
Abadlali bebanyana bakholelwa ekutheni kuzobasiza kakhulu ukudlala umdlalo wokungcweka neCosta Rica ngomgqibelo njengoba belungiselela umqhudelwano wendebe yomhlaba ozoqala mhla zingama-20 kwephezulu uphothulwe mhla zingama-20 kuNcwaba.
Xhumana nophiko lwezindaba ze-SABC sithinte uma ufuna ukusazisa noma ukusiluma indlebe ngodaba oluthile noma ingqinamba ezikhungethe umphakathi wangakini ungasishayela kule nombolo ethi 011 714 6133 noma usithumele i-email ku-news@sabc.co.za.
As some groupings have said, there might be 4 groupings that have been identified now, coordinated in one center somewhere in the northern KZN. So yes, 12 around, but the Limpopo one, there might be a link with the service delivery in that area. But these other 2 KZN clearly are coordinated and organized kind of crime. I sympathize with trucking industry. I would simply not dismiss their cries. I think there is a gentleman I follow is Mr. Kelly. Yes. I sympathize with him, and I would agree on some other issues and understand how he feels, how the industry feels. It's a big loss. I never own a truck, but I guess you don't wake up the next morning and buy the truck. You must accumulate some kind of wealth, some kind of money and all that. But I would not fully agree that nothing is being done. The coordinator of the IMC Interministerial Committee on this is led by the Minister of Labour. Minister of Transport sits there, Minister of Police sits there. There are several different issues on those matters. One is labor, and this issue of foreign employed drivers. But with this one, it can tell you that it has gone beyond that, because I think it's about 4 or only 3 or 4 foreign drivers on this incident. All drivers are South Africans on this one. I think there are only 2 foreign trucks, or there are 3 foreign trucks, 2 of them in Mpumalanga and 1 of them in KZN, with that you would expect nonetheless that those would be foreign drivers if trucks are foreign. But the rest of them. So though it has been shouted that has not been fully addressed, indeed, a person who would give a final answer on that one is a Minister of Labour. Minister of Transport, we also work together on these matters. There are things that they raised about the permanence of the licenses on the other side, and that here you need to revise your license and renew your license every 5 years, and then they've got the advantage and all. That is looked at by the Minister of Transport together with her counterparts on those that they come in. I know for a fact that the Minister of Transport, before this month ends, is going to meet her counterpart in Zambia, trying to deal with these cross-border issues and all that. Yes, is nothing being done? That can't be correct. Is it adequate that is done? No, it's not adequate because we still see these things happening there. Again, there are a lot of meetings in between, even talking with the committees and the people that are there. One thing that dealing with those structures you talk about, one thing that has happened, it does look like there is division and quarrel between and among the organization that you talk about. There is a feeling that others are too soft, others are too radical and all that. So those meetings, unfortunately, as you say, nothing happens. A lot happens. Unfortunately, maybe the media does not pay attention on what happens in between. But it does happen.
All right, that's Becky Ele, really defending government's response to truck attacks that we've seen in the past, but mostly dealing with the recent...
But I'm told that some of those people are given suspended sentences. So maybe that's the thing that as a cluster we need to deal with, as a security cluster, with our sister departments, justice, prosecution and all that, because is clearly far beyond an innocent act. We begin to identify it as economic sabotage, as something very serious than just arson. So we hope that going forward, all of us will take it in that way, because it will be really worrying in the police when some of those people, they get suspended sentences. It could be 5-7 years suspended. That is, for the police, really is not a good story to tell after you've done the work and all that going forward. Maybe SAPC, again, we repeat, we don't have evidence that this is linked to July. We're not denying it. But the evidence we have is that there's been a call of people to say they're still fighting the issue of foreign drivers. The evidence we have is that there is a division. There is a division among the people that are in that particular structure of the trucks, one or two. The evidence we have is that this thing is coordinated on the sabotage of economy, people fighting on wars of economy and their issues of some industry. We do have that. So if there is any other, we'd love to have it. But as we speak now, we do not have evidence that is linked here. We know that there are opportunists. And most of your call comes from that call. There are people that they say, we see July coming. What is this famous thing? We see you. We see you there, July and all that kind of stuff. So, indeed, if it happens here, there will be people that would want to claim easy victories. Which are not their victories, if you call these victories. So they've been that call. There are people who are aware of them that are trying to link this to this July, and I'm sure yourself you are aware of them, and I'm sure the community out there will believe and will see them and begin to believe. But from the side of the law enforcement, we have no evidence of that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, General, would you like to add?
Thanks. Yeah, the issue of intelligence, yes, there has been intelligence to an extent, but the fact that we have intelligence to say who and who are planning 1, 2, 3, we need to link the people directly to the act that has been done. So we cannot go out, arrest people because they said certain things. That with our investigation, we'll be able to prove whether specific people are involved in the touching of trucks, and that we will be able to arrest them once we have clarified that. The circulating video, we have a number of videos, not only one, including, of course, that the one that is circulating. We have a number of videos that we are busy analyzing, and we will be able to follow up on those people that are on those videos. Quite a number of videos that we are currently looking at, which we will use, of course, as evidence at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. We're going to take the last round, colleagues, of questions. I'm going to ask Brenda Mate, the spokesperson of the SAPS, to please to take us through some of the questions that have been set. And then we will open up to the floor again. Yes, Mr. We'll get your turn.
Thank you, Lorenzo. The majority of the questions were answered by both the Minister and the NEFCOM, but I will proceed to read them out. From the Mail and Guardian, we've got 2 questions. They read as follows. There was already an IMC appointed by the President to look into these attacks. How often does this task team meet? And second question, the panel report into 2021 July riots highlighted intelligence failures and these renewed truck attacks an indication that intelligence surveillance has not improved. And then from Radio France International, our foreign truck drivers are targeted. Which specific industry is targeted? As foreigners, I think of Congolese drivers and Zim drivers, and that's all from my side.
All right, Michelle.
Alex, Mitchell, News 24 again. Minister, apologies, I think just 2 clarity-seeking questions from my side. The first is, there seems to be a bit of back and forth about what the evidence suggests. For instance, are you saying that in your speech you said, this is basically an attack on the state? Are you saying the evidence suggests that there is a coordinated attack on the state, as in are these trucks being burned with the purpose of economic sabotage, or are you saying, and then you also say some of it's business related, or are you rather saying that it's a business related attacks, but obviously it causes economic sabotage? I think those are 2 different things. And then just my second clarification question would be, what were these trucks carrying? Was there commonality between most of the trucks in terms of their cargo?
I'll ask the provincial commissioners to take us through maybe what the trucks were carrying. Let me just see if there are any fresh hands. Fresh hands?
Always fresh.
Okay, Heidi, you'll take the last bite, please.
Thank you so much. I know the question has been asked almost indirectly, but I just want to get clarity in terms of police investigations into these trucking companies, if they are hiring illegal drivers, and if any of these trucking company owners have been arrested. What are the numbers regarding this? If you can just give clarity on this, and I ask this because there's obviously concern that these attacks could possibly be linked to foreign truck drivers and locals wanting, that issue between the 2. So if you can just give us clarity on that, please. Thanks.
How many, who is arrested? How many foreign drivers or how many owners have been arrested?
Clarity on your question, Heidi.
Could you give us an indication, Minister? I think it's because you can't see me.
Yes, and I'm very worried not seeing you.
So sorry.
I would love to see you every day, Heidi.
Okay. I'm asking if you, as the police, can give us an indication of any trucking companies, like the owners of these trucking companies, if they've been arrested or investigated for hiring illegal foreign drivers.
Minister, before you respond to that, can I just ask the provincial commissioners where they're sitting? They don't need to move because they'll be audible. In terms of what were the trucks carrying, that was the mutually full question.
Good afternoon, Minister, and all the media
From Limpopo, they were carrying ferrochrome, and the other truck was empty because there were only 3 trucks that were left. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. National Commissioner and all the media houses and my colleagues. From Bumalanga, there were 3 trucks that were carrying coal, 3 trucks were empty, one was carrying a chrome, and then the other 2 was carrying oranges and apples. So there were 9 all in all. Thank you.
There's different commodities, which include coal and different cargoes that came from the harbor into Gauteng.
Can I answer your question? IMC, how much it makes. I wouldn't give in times, really. The chair is the Minister of Labour, but it does meet, even outside, as I've said, outside of the high level of the activity around trucks and all that. It does meet. But also the chair would meet with the industry now and again. There are quite several people that were part of the committee that was established some time ago in Pretoria. But I would be lying if I can say to you I know how many times. But it has, the committee of the IMC has met on this one. The high-level commission led by Professor Sandy Africa indeed did find quite several things. One of those things was an uncoordinated work of the intelligence. That's why one made that point to say we have definitely improved in that, no doubt about it, of the intelligence. Especially there will be 2 main intelligences. There are 3 main intelligences. There will be defense, the police, which is crime intelligence, and the SSA. Even yesterday, the NICOC, the coordinating committee, has been meeting on this one. Maybe that is why we can proudly say there will be no repeat of 2021. Indeed, there are these remnants, as you see, the truck and all that. Maybe again, Zikona, I remind you the question that you have raised of, is there any preventative measures in these other provinces? You raised that question. Indeed, yes. Especially Gauteng. We might not go details, but there are issues that already have been prevented in Gauteng already. If we were not aware, if we were not learned from our previous experiences, I think Gauteng would be also in the same pot with these other provinces. And that takes us to other questions raised. Is there any common link on the attack of these trucks vis-a-vis a certain industry? Yes, we do see that. It's in the east part of the country, and it's on the line of the coal, and including the harbor where the coal is sent. So it was raised on the statement, as it was read, to say it might be some jealous and the wars of economy that is taking place there. The question is raised on the business that does not give a very clear answer or basis. Business and economy, I would suspect, is one thing. I would suspect that business and economy is one thing. If we say it attacks business, indeed it attacks economy. I'm not an economist, but I would suspect that if you attack business, you are attacking. So for me, I find that correctly interchangeable. business and economy. And that, if you continue to attack economy and sabotage economy, you can't do that without sabotaging and hurting the state and the government, because you go to the unemployment, you go to the infrastructure, and those things are provided by both the economy, the business, and when they attack this thing, especially in N3, Van Riemen, it took some time for the traffic to come back, even after those banned trucks have been removed, because of the damage on the road. That is infrastructure. That is attack on the state. So that is how interchangeable it is. I don't have information of the owners, Hedy, that have been arrested. I don't have. But I know for sure that the Minister of Labour has found that there are businesses that have hired foreign nationals 100%. 100%. And the Minister of Labour is dealing with those matters. They have visited, there have been quite some visit of the inspectors to the depots and all that, and they'll find that some they hide their workers as they come, and some, when they go there, they ask, yes, indeed, it's 100% and all that, which then angers the South African drivers, because they say they employ them cheaper, they exploit them, and they can then manage not to employ South African drivers because they employ these ones and exploit them cheaper. That's why the labor laws must be put in place, and labor laws are very clear. They simply say South Africans are employed in South Africa, but foreign nationals will be employed if those skills do not exist in the country. And I'm told that there are about 1 million drivers in South Africa, truck drivers. So you would not argue that those skills do not exist in South Africa. But also, South Africans, they must be also aware that the foreign trucks will be driven by the foreign drivers as they come in the country. I think that is a program of awareness, is a program of taking everybody on board. But I don't have an information of arrested owner when it comes to this, but there are owners who are employing people that are not supposed to be employed in terms of the availability of skills and them being the foreign nationals. I think I've answered all the questions, my boss.
You have, Minister. Thank you so much for those responses. Before I let you go, I just want to scan through the room. Okay, is that another one? No, okay. Please. And then we'll bring it to close. Before that, Minister, we just have a request to have Isizulu coming from yourself before we close this meeting. Go ahead.
Many thanks. Mr. Minister, perhaps this is addressed to the Commissioner. Given the disparate nature, and Minister, you followed it since 2018 and the task group that was formed last year with other ministers, is there a dedicated task group focused on truck attacks? Because there's foreign drivers, there's economic sabotage, there's everything. Or are you relying on broad-based police structures? Have you put in a dedicated task group to focus? I'm talking FBI type stuff, focused on drug attacks.
The National Commissioner will respond to that.
Yeah, thanks. We do have a team at National. Okay. We do have a team both in Gauteng and KZN that is focusing on the investigation of truck-related hijackings. But then the hijacking part is different to what we are talking about here. It's different to this current. So now we do have that. It's managed from the head of organized crime at head office. Thank you.
clarify, I don't mean hijacking. I know there is a top things and very good cooperation. Trucker tax. So maybe I didn't get your answer correct.
Okay, thanks. With trucker tax, we have an integrated team, nationally, provincially, both in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, consisting of SAPS, Department of Transport, Department of Labor. That's what the minister was talking about. These teams, they do investigate. They have a team of detectives investigating the attacks, and you have the proactive part that is looking at compliance inspections. That's where they go to premises, and then, unfortunately, they find the owners. They don't get arrested, they give them a fine. That's what the minister was explaining earlier. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you so much, General. Just that request, Mrs. Minister, possibly touching on the 3 points, essentially, around what you've been before yourselves to suggest that there is any linkage to July arrest. Thank you, Mr.
Well, isithatha ithuba namhlanje siye i-ofisi lwangqongqoshe wamaphoyisa nezikhulu eziphezulu zamaphoyisa ukuthi sizobeka udaba kwisizwe maqondana nendaba ekuyiyona esematheni lezinsuku yokushisa ezweni awu-21 mathatha ama-province ekuyiwona sikhathazayo eKwaZulu-Natal kube iMpumalanga bese kuzojobelela iLimpopo awu-21 sekuhlangene lama-truck ashisiwe esitholayo ukuthi kunezimpi zomnotho ezingenzeka ukuthi zibanga abantu abalwayo kulezi ndawo. Okunye okujobelelekayo ukuthi isekhona inhlasi yokuthi abantu bacabanga ngokuthi kuyinkinga ukuqashwa kwabantu bangaphandle ukuzosebenza embonini yamaloli kuleli zwe lakithi. Okwesithathu ukuthi siyakuthola ukuthi kunengxabano kuyinhlangano ezibhekelene nokuthuthwa ekakhulu bahamba kancane kakhulu. Kuze kube manje ke sesikwazile ukuthi sihlonze abantu abayi12 ezweni kakhulu phakathi kwesifundazwe saseMpumalanga nesifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal. Abantu ke labo esibalandelayo esinabo amagama abo, abanye babo esibaziyo ukuthi bahlalaphi, nokuthi siyabuthola ubufakazi obuhlonzekayo ukuthi labantu ba-coordinate-iwe bahlelwe endaweni eyodwa ngamathimba athile abaphuma bahambe bayogila lemkhuba baphathe ibhamu bamise odriver bashise amaloli. Kunamathimba-ke ekakhulu emaprovinsini amabili KwaZulu-Natal naseMpumalanga aliphenyayo lolu daba. Silindele ukuthi esikhathini esifishane kakhulu babe khona abantu esikwaziyo ukuthi sibabambe sibabeke phambi komthetho ukuze labo bantu baphendule ukuthi bayenzelani into enje. Mawubuka ekuboshweni kwabantu bama-truck kusuka ngo-2018 kuze kuzoba manje abantu igameko ezenzeka e-KZN 107 kulabo bantu kwaboshwa abantu abawu-24 emacaleni awu-26 avuliwe. Inkantolo abantu kodwa bawu-8 babo sebatholakala benamacala bagwetshwa. Bese kuthi kwisimo sokuphazamiseka nesimo esabakhona ngo-2021 bawu-67 abantu ababoshiwe abahamba amacala eNingizimu Afrika ekakhulu eKZN nakhona eGauteng. Kunesisho-ke nombuzo lokuqhamuka ukuthi ababoshiwe abantu okuyibona bona obhongoza kulezo zinto nezigameko zika 2021. Sithi-ke kulabo bantu abanalolu daba abeze ngaphambili emaphoyiseni bazosho ukuthi nabo abantu esibaziyo ukuthi bawobhongoza, nabo ubufakazi ne-information esinayo ngabo, kwenzela ukuthi amaphoyisa aqhubeke nokuphenya, ngoba asiphenye asibopha abantu okukhulunywa izinto ngabo, sibopha abantu abasuke bephenyiwe. Siyethemba ukuthi izoqhubekela laba abawu-67 kubona kukhona esihlelo ukuthi kungezwe amacala abo athe ukuthi xaxa njengamacala okubhekela ukuvukela umbuso, amacala afana noPhekela Sikhuni awakabekwa lawo macala, kodwa kuyatholakala ukuthi kukhona bangakwazi ukuthi babekelwe kuwona. Esesiqiniseko nako ukuthi u21 ngeke uphinde uJuly 21 ngoba izinhla zamaphoyisa zisebenzisana kangcono, noma singatheli ngamathe, singakubukeli phansi okwenzekayo ukuthi kunama-truck ashayo navinjelwayo, kodwa sinesiqiniseko ukuthi ngeke siphinde sibe sesigabeni sika 2021 ngokuthi siyakwazi ukuthi sisebenzisane. Amaphoyisa khona atshaliwe emgwaqweni, kakhulu eKZN siyabonga ukuthi amasosha asefikile, siyasebenzisana nawo nakwezinye indawo la khona ekubonakala ukuthi inkinga zingaba nkulu sokwazi ukuthi siwathumele. Siqhubeka sibambisane nomphakathi, sibambisane nabo bonke labo abanengxenye nabafuna ukufaka ihlombe kulolu daba, ikakhulu imboni yama-truck nabo luvale, singaphinde sibe nenkinga yokuthi sengivala sibheke njube amaphoyisa ukuthi esikhathini esifishane ayeke ukusinika amagama abantu abawu-12, asinika abantu. Siyabonga.
Thank you so much, Minister. That really brings our press conference to a close. I do want to remind you, members of the media, that myself as well as Brigadier Mate are available for any follow-up questions emanating from this press conference. Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you so much, General. And thank you, of course, members of the media. Have a safe trip home.
I went over